Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Shop, Lone Star Mopars.com. Got interrupted in my work on the cars because I need some cutters, and believe it or not, I think these would do it, but they're not ideal. I've got something slightly better. So these are my first ever extreme leverage technology. They're E-line, if you will, E338s. I'm excited to see how these perform. While they would no doubt do what I want them to do, they wouldn't be quite as efficient as this guy right here. I told you it was going to be code blue. What is it, you ask? It's a little beefier. Dun 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 dun. That is right. These are the 911s. This will be my first ever experience with 911s at work. I think all of our honestly, our main, 5-conductor cable, we just use bolt cutters on. But for the smaller wire, the shears that we do have, I think they are all Klein or off-brand. If they're Channellock, the grips are completely gone, and it's beyond the point that I've ever taken the time to look for a name. Typically, all that stuff shear-wise is going to be Klein. But these were a pretty good deal. I brought them in at the same time I got these E338s from Amazon. I think I got these cheaper with the code blue handles than you could order them in from big box stores. I think I paid, it might have just been $20. Which was a really low price, but typically these are going to be somewhere like in the $25–$30 range. Again, I got a really good deal, and they're code blue handles, and this is where it's going to be really nice to have the code blue, because I'm going to be cutting battery cable, welding cable, bigger stuff, and another item which we're going to showcase here in just a second. That said, big selling point for Channellock, aside from the years and years of first-hand experience from myself, and the experience that mirrors that from others, is the fact they are made entirely in the USA. So what we want to do, these are available in standard if you hate the color scheme or something. It's actually a very nice padded handle, I will say that. But the overall length on these 911s, it's going to be 9.38 inches. We'll compare them to the 909s. The jaw length will be 1.4 inches. Joint thickness will be 0.51. Can't see it too great through the packaging, but remember the numbers if you care. Cutting edge, 1.4 inches. So with the standard 338s, I think it was like, 0.79. These E338s, the cutting edge is 0.86. And yeah, these are going to have significantly more at almost 1.5 inches. Let's see here. Handle span will be 2 inches, so we can get a little bit more out of those. Joint width will be 1.61, and the weight, they clock in at 0.9 pounds. They are a cable cutter style, which again, like I said, that's sort of where you're stepping up, where I would do like a PVC coated wire, small rod, maybe some fasteners, brad type nails, finishing nails, so on and so forth. We're going to come in, and these will handle battery cable, which typically for a DIY person, automotive side of things, the worst you're ever going to encounter. And you want to use good battery cable too. You don't want the chinchy tiny crap. You want some solid cable. That's where these are going to shine. Aluminum copper cutting ability. Cuts up to 4.0 aluminum and 2.0 copper. They say don't use it for steel or ACSR. They have sight hardened cutting edges. Shear through soft metal wires and cables. The alloy steel blade is made with custom heat treated alloy steel, and the code blue grips are designed for both durability and comfort. So, like I said, I think I paid like $20.06 from Amazon, which was really cheap. But that said, here they are coming up to the camera. 911CB, as you can see, fiercely made. Is it Meadville or Medville? I'm inclined to say Medville, but it's probably Mead. I don't know. Pennsylvania, main thing. American. We'll just leave it at that, right? We're proud of all 50 states. So, cable cutter. Cuts up to 4.0 aluminum, 2.0 copper, not for steel. I'm sure some people will use it for that, but hey. High carbon steel for superior performance and ultimate rust preventative coating. Channellock blue and red grips are designed for durability and comfort. So, let's go ahead and open these up. Man, I love simplistic packaging. Isn't that nice? We're done. There's no blister pack. There's nothing we have to cut. It's just you open it up and you're ready to go. These are pretty nice. unlike most Channellock products where you can come in and look at them and, you know, it's just kind of like what looks to be a flat edge, you don't necessarily see the sharpened edge, which, by the way, don't sharpen them, exchange them for new. Check this out. This means business. This is sort of akin to slip joint plier capabilities, right? Where these 338s, we're going to stop at that detent. That's the max capacity, if you will. Granted, I don't know that you'd want to push them that far, but with these, we can get some cable in there. You can rest it in. Boom. Satisfying, right? It's kind of trademark of all bolt cutters, cable shears, along those lines. It's just that solid steel detent. There's a look at the push pin on the handle. If we can get it. I'm going to try zooming in again. That worked good last time. Slowly but surely, I'm figuring the camera out. Come on. There we go. So, Channellock made in the USA. Underneath that, I don't know that you can see it, 911CB, and they even have not for steel. I think you can see that now. So it's just, this has a huge, I'm used to like a point and shoot camera, right? And this has a really big lens on it. It makes things difficult for me, but we will adjust over time. So there they are. Again, the Code Blue. If you have never had Code Blue handles, price them out, because oftentimes they're like $1 or $2 more. Sometimes I've even seen the Code Blues cheaper, which I realize a lot of people are like, oh, the color sucks, I hate it, I'd never buy it. I, was one of those people. I was like, why would I pay an extra, $5, $6 for that? But when it's like 1 or 2 and or cheaper, it's like, why would I pass that up, when I would spend more for something that's not at the same price point, right? So I'm used to these. They're not a big deal. They actually provide decent padding, but in terms of a comfort grip type of a design, these are really, really good. The best comfort grips I have ever had would be between these and the NWS combo pliers, which I've used sparingly. They're like those German sci-fi looking ones I had in the first KC tool haul. But let me show you what I wanted these for. Again, I didn't plan to open these yet. I was just going to save them. I brought them in because they were so cheap. And my plan was, when I rewired everything, did the really solid ground cables, and had to make some new battery terminals, I was going to use these explicitly for that and then open them up at that point in time. However, a need arose, and right here, I've got some Aeroquip 3/8 line, basically. This is sort of their... It's not, rubber per se like this, and it's not quite the top of the line braided lines. I've got some crud in here from where it was cut last. I think I cut these with a box cutter. I've used shears before. I'm gonna try, see if we could pull that out. Yeah, we can open it up, because you don't want that. Okay, luckily these needle nose. Man, I can't tell you how much I love these, though. And this is really where I've gotten to know and love the Code Red grips. I use these all the time. That's why they're never away. That's why I just keep them out. They're that handy for me. And that is one reason why I went ahead and picked these up. Plus, if we're cutting thick cable, that's where you would really have to apply leverage, and you would appreciate the comfort grip, in my opinion. So, the 909s, I probably should have done Code Blues if you're going to crimp a lot, which I will be. But I also might be using the Tailor tool, so we'll have to see how that goes. That said, I think I'm going to have to cut this down significantly, but let's just, for kicks and giggles here, this is the E338. And it is not intended for this application. I can tell you right now. In fact, it barely clears. I think you can kind of see there. But let's see what it does. We'll just try to snip the edge off, if I can, ever so slightly. That was my knuckles, not the tool. Oh, you know what? That did way better than I thought it would. So, as I mentioned, these E338s, I told you in their video, I thought that they would get this job done for me, but I told you I had a better tool for it, and they actually did a really nice... If I'd have taken time to square that up, it'd be perfect. But, the 911s, Code Blue, we're going to slide this through. It works a little bit easier because, of course, it's got a wider capacity, so we're going to set that up. I think you can see it and appreciate it. I've just got, literally, thumb and traffic fingers doing all the work. And I want to get this to where you can see it. Or do you want to see the cutting edge? I don't know. Let's start from the top. We're going to get right there. I'll come in, reposition. Yeah. That's why. Will these do it? Oh yeah, they will. You could probably get by with even the 337s. Look how clean of a cut that is. This stuff is not easy to cut either. For most people, if you're using even design tools, I've never had good luck with those. With rubber hose, yes, but if you step up to something like this, I don't know that you can see it too great, but it's reinforced. Again, let me see. I think I have the box there, but no product details. It's Aeroquip. It's their socketless hose. I did check with them years ago. I said, hey, do I have to use this with the socketless fittings, or can I use it with barbed fittings? They said it's fine with barbed fittings, so I took their word for it. I've used it with no issues. You can see the worm clamp there. Only issue really is that ethanol kills all the filters, and it makes my life a living hell. But that 911CB, yes, it's designed for wire. Yes, you know, we're going to have great times with it doing our battery cables, you know, in the future and in the distant future. But for something like this, it is not necessarily advertised for. Fuel line. Freaking amazing. I don't have any braided. Actually, I do, but I don't want to cut it because I don't know, like, I may need the full runs I've got. But like your typical braided, the stainless, I prefer black personally, but if you've got like the traditional, you know, stainless braided line, I'm inclined to say this would do a pretty good job. I would still tape it because that stuff is a royal pain in the butt. It's one of the reasons I was going that route and I was doing AN stuff. And then Socketless came along and I was like, you know, let's see what that's like. And it's worked pretty good for me. But these will make such quick work of even a good, solid, reinforced socketless hose. I think this was the 337 piece. In fact, I know it was, because it was a little jagged to begin with. And that wasn't from the box cutter when I initially trimmed it. That was from me having to use a box cutter underneath the car to get this stupid thing to break free from the leaking Russell filter. Those things, I never had issues with them until ethanol was put in the gas, and now I will never ever run them again. I picked them out because they had a replaceable element. And they worked great for years, but like I said, with the ethanol, not so great. So that would have been that side that I had kind of nipped off of. Then this would have been the cut from the 338s, which did really good. And then right here, look at that though. Isn't that impressive? I think so. So, are these advertised for cutting fuel line? No. Are they intended for it? No. Do they do a good job of it? Oh, yes, they do. And will I continue to use them for that? You better believe it. So, this is one of those things, you know, you're probably going to bring these in like me. You're like, well, I'm going to make my own battery cables. I'm not going to pay somebody to do it. You know, that's a rip-off. I can terminate it, crimp it, solder it, cut it, you know, all that good stuff. This is going to be a vital tool for that, but to get your money's worth out of this, when you can do something like trim socketless hose effortlessly, that's a very, very good thing. So, that is that, man. These are my latest and greatest Channellock products. The E338s, which I'm excited to see, again, long-term, how I like them compared to what I'm used to at work. I might, when the work ones ever go out, which will probably be a case where they're lost before that happens, or they get dropped in something, I'll probably go with the ease on that and just kind of see how well those stack up with what I'm accustomed to. But these bad boys right here, the 911CBs, again, that's just 911 code blue. These handles will come in nice for cutting and crunching some thicker, heavier stuff, and I have zero complaints, especially for the price. They were 20 bucks on Amazon. I literally, if I remember correctly, it was $20.06, and I do believe that was cheaper than the standard non-code blue handles. So for whatever it is, always price them out. You might pull these up and they might be like 25, 26 bucks in the standard classic Channellock blue grip. Go ahead and check for the code blue. You typically just put a CB on the end of the part number. In this case, it would be 911 versus 911CB. And you might be surprised. It might just be $1 or $2 more, or in some cases like this one, it might be cheaper by several dollars. And hey, that's a great time to test out the code blue. Gotta warn you though, once you do, you might be hooked. Again, I'd prefer it if it was all kind of the Channellock blue. Red's not really my color. It does make them stand out a little bit, I guess. Some people would probably love it, but I will say this, it's very comfortable, and again, those get used all the time, and that's entirely what I'm basing this on. This turned out to be a really smart purchase, so glad I did that. But that said, I will quit rambling. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. If you'd like to subscribe, feel free. Make sure you ring the bell, jump through the 3 hoops, and all the other things they add in front of you from being notified when a new video goes up. But like I said, didn't plan to open either of these up yet. I was just kind of having them waiting in the wings for that project, and wound up doing some fuel line stuff today and said, hey, those 911s, they'd work great for this, and they sure did. I'm going to have a good time with them again. I'm probably going to wind up trimming this significantly, probably cutting down about 2 or 3 inches, so they'll do it. They'll do a good job of it, and that's just another perk of a quality tool. So make sure you follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, circle us on Google+. You can also check us out on Instagram. For myself and yet another amazing Channellock product, we will catch you back here for more action from the shop.